Hello again and welcome to another Mordy and Glory Warhammer 40k video. In today's episode, I want to take you through step by step my idea for a competitive mechanized recon company for the Imperial Guard. This is a twist on the traditional mech guard army that I've been mulling over for a few months now, and with the changes that have come about with Pariah Nexus and the balanced data slate and all that good stuff, I think that it's got a lot of potential. And so without further ado, let's mount up, roll out, and deep dive right into today's episode.
You there, guardsman! Did you know that the Mordy and Glory channel is now officially sponsored by Sharp?
No, sir.
By God, Sharp! That's right! HarperCollins, the publisher of the Sharp books, has partnered with the Emperor's True Finest as part of the release of the latest tale in the Sharp series, Sharp's Command.
To be commanded by the newly gazetted Captain Gibbons.
To be commanded by the newly gazetted Captain Sharp.
In this brand new novel from Bernard Cornwell, Major Sharp is outnumbered, outgunned with enemies on all sides. Can he and his men save the day? Well, there's only one way for you to find out. Click on the affiliate link down below, get yourself a copy of Sharp's Command, and support the channel today.
That's soldier.
Now, before we get into the specific units of this army, I want to give a bit of context and take you through my thoughts and thunks behind this army concept. Now, normally Mech Guard relies upon a pretty simple concept. Take chimeras, take heavy tanks like Leman Russes and Rogal Dawns, roll forward, blow people up, and dump infantry out onto the objectives. And in many ways, this list achieves the same thing. But rather than focusing on lots of heavy armor, instead I want to really try out that medium armor spam. Lean into faster elements, things that I've got scout, things that just really want to get up close and personal with the enemy. And so that way I'll be able to get board control early on, and hopefully I won't lose out on too much firepower. If I was to sum up the list in 3 words, it would be speed, violence, and momentum. But with that covered, let's get into the nitty gritty. And we'll start off over on the left here, and you can see that we've got a couple of chimeras. Now these chimeras have got the DACA configuration with double heavy bolter, a heavy stubber, the las gunner raise, and we're also going to have a hunter killer missile. Now inside one of these chimeras, we are going to have a 10-man unit of Catachans. You know them, you love them. It allows the scout ability of the Catachans to transfer over onto the chimera, so the chimera gets a 6-inch scout at the beginning of the game, making it highly maneuverable. In the other chimera, I have gone for a platoon command squad. A controversial choice, I know, but hear me out. This platoon command squad is going to be equipped with an officer with a plasma pistol and a power weapon of some kind, and then we're going to have a guy with a flag, the regimental standard, to give us a bit of bonus objective control. So actually, this 5-man unit is going to have 10 OC, which is big. And even if they're battle shot, they're still a 5 OC, so it helps with the objective control, the primary objective game. And then for the remaining 3 models, we're going to stuff it full of heavy weapons. We're going to go for a heavy flamer in there, we're going to go for a melter gun, and also a plasma gun. Now the idea is that this gives our chimera a little bit more punch, because whilst we are using the firing deck of the chimera, we benefit from the new lethal hits, the newborn soldiers that we've got from the balanced data slate, because technically it's the chimera shooting those weapons. Another reason why we've gone for platoon command squad though is the Sentinels. Now Sentinels have the regiment keyword, which means they can actually receive orders from infantry officers. And thanks to the Chimera's ability of mobile command vehicle, we can actually use the officer's order whilst he is embarked inside the Chimera on the Sentinels. So essentially what we're going to do is have these 2 units buddy up, and wherever the Chimera goes, the Sentinels will go, and the Sentinels will receive orders like take aim, or they'll receive things like move, 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 just to enhance whatever I need them to do in that particular turn, be it rush onto an objective or do more damage. And we've also then got the final vehicle in this little quartet of units, a Hellhound. Now this Hellhound is going to be equipped with a heavy flamer and an Inferno cannon, And I just love the classic all burny all the way Hellhound. Although there's definitely an argument to be made for going down the melter cannon route and the multi-melter route with the new lethal hits. Now these units here form a mechanized platoon, an armored fist platoon if you will. And what I've done is I've taken this small platoon, this army within an army if you will, and I've extrapolated it. In fact, I've taken it 3 times. And the thinking is that, well, there are 3 primary objectives that tend to be in the middle of the board. When I deploy, I'll have one of these going off, sort of matched up against one of those primary objectives, and I'll push a platoon onto each one. This should give me, thanks to me being mechanized, good localized force concentration, whilst at the same time allowing me to have good combat width by attacking upon a broad front. Also, if my opponent ends up doing a refused flank, I should have the maneuverability to bring one of, let's say, my right-hand armored fist platoon over to the center, or likewise the left-hand one over to the center, or the center over to one of the flanks, so that I can reinforce where I'm struggling, or if I want to exploit some progress that's being made on another part of the board. I actually covered this army with an army system in a separate video, and I'll make sure there's a link to that down in the description below. But essentially it means that no matter where the enemy hits you, you've got multiple layers of redundancy, whilst at the same time having at every single part of the board the tools that you need to deal with the situation. And if you look at these units, you'll see that they do really support each other very well. Each Hellhound is going to be removing cover on an enemy unit, and that will allow things like the Chimera Heavy Bolters to be even more potent because they'll be AP -1, and then the enemy won't get a cover save, so that AP will actually mean something. Also, it'll mean things like the Heavy Stubbers and the Lasguns, which don't traditionally have any AP. They'll be even more effective against light infantry. We're then going to have the Sentinels. Now, all the Sentinels in this army, you may see there's a bit of a smorgasbord of weapons. I do want to apologise, there's a slight proxying going on here. I have all the weapons for these Sentinels, I just need to actually build them and paint them. Now, all these Sentinels are going to be equipped with las cannons, and that's going to add the serious anti-tank punch that each one of these platoons need. So we'll have the lethal hits and the support, and by extension the supplementary anti-tank from the Chimeras, and then we're going to have some actual anti-tank in the form of the Sentinels. As these are all Scout Sentinels as well, we will have daring Recon. So a lot of these weapons are going to be having reroll 1s to hit as well, which will help generate more sustained hits, maybe more lethal hits, or just help me just get more hits in general. We're also going to have a bit of anti-tank in here with the melter gun and the plasma gun and whatnot coming out of the firing deck here. And also we're going to have lots of anti-infantry with the Hellhounds and also with just all the general DACA that we've got going on. In theory, no matter what units my opponent takes, each one of these cores should have the tools it needs to take it on. Heavy armor, they've got las cannons. Light and medium armor, they've got the heavy bolters and the las cannons. And hordes of infantry, well, they've certainly got the volume here between the Chimeras and the Hellhounds. And if they need to do any screening, well, the Sentinels have got Sentinel chainswords, and or if the screening is going to be particularly tough, or we don't want our anti-tank to be getting taken out, we've got the Hellhound, which has got a 2+ armor save and really doesn't mind being stuck into combat where it can just burn away with all of its flamers. Now, on its own, I think this is a pretty formidable army, but wait, there's more, because we had just enough points left in the budget to squeeze in some support units as well. We've gone for double Basilisk, which, even though you can't get them hit on 2s or anything like that anymore, they're still my go-to artillery piece. They don't have the lethal hits, but a little bit of supporting fire is great for finishing off damaged enemy units, and also they're still the premier unit in the Guard for going after small units that are trying to hide sitting on objectives, because they've got the reliability and they're still strength 8. So if someone tries to take a unit of space from Incestors or their equivalent, put them on a backfield objective, my Basilisk will be eating good. Also, even though they don't have orders and they don't really benefit from orders, they will benefit from the daring recon of the Sentinels, which will give them reroll 1s. Finally, I've got a little bit of a secondary objective game here, and I've taken just the 1 unit of Scions. I do normally prefer taking 2 units of Scions, but between this unit and maybe some infantry coming back with a one-off reinforcements, maybe a unit of sentinels, hopefully I'll have some stuff that can come back in the game and nab me some extra secondaries or some extra behind enemy lines if it comes up. Oh, and one last important thing to mention about the support units, specifically the basilisks. Whilst all of this stuff is going to be pushing forward into the mid-board, the basilisk will be sitting on my home objective, securing that one and hopefully denying my opponent any sneaky secondaries or just securing me some primary points. However, I do think that this list, whilst very strong, does potentially have a couple of weaknesses. First up, we don't have all that much battle line. In fact, in total, including the scions, which I'm not even sure I should considering they're going to drop down to die, we have got 50 infantry. That's not a lot. That's not a lot at all. Also, whilst I think this list has decent firepower, sufficient firepower, I don't think it has the most firepower. And I wouldn't be surprised if one game every tournament, I did not have the Dakar advantage. Hopefully, though, I do have more tools in the toolbox and I do have things that I can move to, other tactics that I can implement. After all, this is a Recon company. Like I said at the beginning, it's not a bruiser detachment, it's more about that speed. And another potential disadvantage with this list is it's got a lot of vehicles. Don't get me wrong, we actually have 20 vehicles in this list if you count each individual sentinel. But pretty much all of those vehicles have got a 3-up saved. No armor sentinels here. And so, apart from 3 hellhounds, whilst there looks like there's a lot of tanks here, I wouldn't be surprised if they do pop fairly quickly. But of course, all of this is just like my opinion, man. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Do you like this style of list? Do you think it's got potential? And how would you implement a Recon company? And what would you change about this army, if anything? Don't forget to smash that like button and also subscribe to never miss an episode.
Would you like to know more? If so, then please consider becoming a channel member or patron. By supporting the channel, not only will you be doing your part, but you'll also be helping me create more content for your viewing pleasure and unlocking a whole host of perks. You get everything from a badge next to your name, custom emojis, but the big one is access to the Mordian Glory Discord server, an online community with almost 2,500 active members. It's always popping off in the MG Discord. We've got channels for army lists, hobbying, tactics, stories, and even a pretty spicy meme section as well. For all you greenhorns that wanted to see the Mordian Glory Hole, today is your lucky day. And joking aside, I do want to say a massive thank you to all of the current channel members and patrons. You guys are amazing. Truly the lifeblood of the channel. I could not do Mordian Glory full-time without the incredible and generous support of my members. So thank you guys so much. And last but certainly not least, I want to say a personal thank you to all of my top tier Patreons. These are the War Masters, the people who have truly gone above and beyond the call of duty. So a heartfelt thank you to Alex Dengal, Bon Vert, Lord Pryor, Mark Panconi, RJ Scorpion, Swordfish Trombone, Try Again Bragg, John Stubbs, Nick Walsh, Diesel Fox, and August Barney. Seriously guys, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Your support is incredible and it makes a huge difference. Thank you so much. That's all for now. Hope you've all enjoyed today's video, and of course, as always, see you guys next time.